In a world obsessed with validation, one of the most powerful moves you can make is to operate in silence. Never tell people what you do is not about being secretive, it's about building strength in privacy. When you talk too early, you invite opinions, doubts, jealousy, and expectations that can derail your focus. Silence gives you space to breathe, to experiment, to fail without shame and rise without noise. It gives you freedom from judgment, freedom to evolve. People don't value what they hear every day, they value what surprises them. Let your results shock them. Your discipline, your hustle, your progress, all should remain hidden until the day they become undeniable. You don't owe the world an explanation of your dreams, because dreams don't survive on public approval, they survive on private action. When no one knows your plan, they can't sabotage it, and when no one watches your process, they can't mock your pace. This is how you protect your energy, your creativity, your growth. Legends are not built under the spotlight, they are built in the shadows. Don't talk, build. Don't announce, execute. Don't post, progress. In silence you earn power. In privacy you shape destiny. Let your actions scream so loud that one day the world is forced to listen. Telling people what you do might seem harmless, even motivational, but often it's a subtle trap. You feel rewarded just by saying the plan, and that feeling replaces the hunger to execute it. You talk, and in that moment your mind thinks you've already accomplished something. But you haven't. Real work is done in silence, in the hours when no one claps, no one watches, and no one cares. Those are the hours that count. When you don't tell anyone, you eliminate pressure to perform. You perform because you want it, not because you're watched. You develop skills not for attention but for impact. You grow not to impress others, but to fulfill a mission only you understand. This is discipline of the highest level. Working when nobody knows, building when nobody supports, winning when nobody expects. And when success comes, it doesn't need an introduction. It speaks for itself. People ask, how did you do it? And that's when you smile, because your silence was your greatest move. So build your empire quietly. Turn your pain into power silently. Use the noise of others as background music to your focus. Let your silence become the strongest roar. Because when you stop telling people what you do, you start doing what truly matters. In a world where everyone is constantly showcasing their lives, successes, and plans, there's a rare power in remaining silent. When you tell people your goals too soon, you not only invite their opinions, doubts, and projections, but you also reduce your inner fire. Silence protects your vision. The more you speak, the more you leak energy. But when you move in silence, you conserve that energy, focus it, and turn it into something unstoppable. The best strategy is to let your work speak louder than your words ever could. When you constantly talk about what you're going to do, your brain gets a false sense of achievement. It starts to believe the job is already done, simply because you've spoken about it. But real growth doesn't happen through words, it happens through consistency and discipline in the dark. Talking gives temporary pride, action gives permanent power. Replace announcements with results. Replace storytelling with story building. People are quick to judge, quick to doubt, and even quicker to envy. The more they know, the more power they have to discourage you. Not everyone around you wants to see you win, and not because you did anything wrong, but because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. That's why it's better to protect your goals like a seed underground. Let it grow quietly. The day it breaks the surface, it will be too strong to stop. True confidence doesn't come from telling people your plan. It comes from knowing you can do it without validation. Every time you keep your work private, you strengthen your inner world. You train your mind to seek progress, not praise. You start becoming the kind of person who creates silently and lets their life make the noise. This is where real confidence lives, not in speeches but in silent self-mastery. Your dreams are sacred. They were given to you not to be shared with everyone, but to be nurtured, protected, and pursued. When you tell everyone what you're building, you open the door for criticism before your foundation is strong enough to handle it. Build the walls. Lay the bricks. Strengthen the base. Then, only then should you open the curtains. Until then, guard your dreams like a lion guards its territory. Operating in silence is a discipline, not a weakness. It takes strength to resist the urge to prove yourself. It takes patience to keep building when no one is watching. But that's what separates the average from the exceptional. Most people want to be seen winning. Great people want to actually win. There's a difference. And that difference is found in the silence between your goals and your results. Your silence isn't emptiness, it's preparation. It's the grind before the glory. It's the rewriting, the rethinking, the rebuilding. Every great project, every powerful idea, every legacy was once a silent process. Michelangelo didn't post his sketches before the Sistine Chapel. Tesla didn't live stream his designs. Real greatness grows where no one is watching. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop explaining yourself to the world. You no longer need approval, applause, or understanding. You become free from the addiction of being seen. That freedom gives birth to something even more powerful: authenticity. You start doing things for the right reasons, because it's your purpose, your passion, your responsibility, not because it looks good to others. Imagine working so quietly, so persistently, that one day the people around you have no choice but to ask, "When did this happen?" That's the reward of silence. It's not about hiding. It's about mastering your craft in secret so deeply that your results become your introduction. You don't need to say a word, your life starts to speak volumes. So remember this: don't tell people what you do. Show them with your actions. Speak through your success. Move like water, quiet, consistent, and powerful. The loudest people often have the least to show. But the quiet ones? They're building empires in the background. Be one of them. Let your silence be your strength, and let your work do the talking when it's ready. The more you reveal, the more you invite resistance. Not just from people, but from your own mind. When you share your goals too early, your brain starts seeking validation instead of progress. It becomes more obsessed with likes, comments, and praise than with practice and patience. But silence kills ego. It reminds you that real success is born in the fire of solitude, where applause cannot reach and only effort matters. Sometimes the people closest to you will doubt your path, not out of malice but out of limitation. They haven't seen your vision, haven't walked your inner journey. That's why it's smarter to protect your mission by not declaring it. Grow so strong in silence that your results become too massive to ignore. Let them discover what you've been building, not because you told them, but because they saw it rise. Every second you spend explaining your path to others is a second stolen from executing it. Time is your most precious currency. Don't waste it proving your purpose to people who haven't earned the right to hear your story. Keep your circle tight and your mouth tighter. What you build in private will one day echo in public, louder than any speech you could give today. Not telling people what you do isn't about fear, it's about focus. It's about putting all your energy into execution, not exposure. It's about sharpening your craft behind the scenes while others are busy performing on stage with nothing to show. In the long run, the quiet worker outlasts the loud dreamer. Because silence breeds consistency, and consistency builds legacy. The best part about working silently is that you never owe anyone an update. You don't have to explain delays. You don't have to fake progress. You don't have to pretend to be ahead. You simply are, exactly where you need to be, growing in truth, not appearance. That freedom is priceless. You no longer chase timelines, you chase truth and transformation. When you stop telling people what you do, you start realizing who you are. You begin to connect with your work on a deeper level. Your purpose becomes sacred, not social. You stop chasing claps and start chasing clarity. You stop seeking an audience and start seeking alignment. This internal shift creates external success. Your life starts unfolding with purpose, not pressure. There's a warrior's calm in staying quiet. It's not that you don't have big dreams, it's that you're too focused on making them real. It's not that you can't speak, it's that your silence has more power than any words. People will sense your shift. They'll feel your energy. And one day when they see the results, they'll understand. This person was never ordinary. Social media has made people believe that progress must be public. But truth is, the most powerful transformations happen privately. The body you build, the business you grow, the mindset you develop, all of that happens off camera. When you master this, you stop chasing trends and start creating legacy. You stop sharing progress updates and start delivering finished masterpieces. Those who truly want to change their lives don't talk much. They're too busy doing the work. The gym is quiet. The studio is quiet. The early morning grind is quiet. But that silence is sacred. That silence is golden. That's where champions are built, not in noise but in the grind no one sees. Learn to love that silence. It is where you meet your true self. So keep going. Quietly. Relentlessly. With no need to impress, no desire to explain, and no urge to prove. Just pure hunger, pure vision, and pure focus. Let the world underestimate you. Let them wonder what you're up to. And when the time is right, let your success become your introduction. Until then, build in silence, move in silence, and win in silence. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing when to conserve your energy and when to release it. Most people waste their power trying to be understood too early. But real masters don't explain, they express through results. They allow their journey to unfold naturally, not through declarations but through undeniable transformations. When no one knows what you're doing, they can't interfere. They can't project fear onto your path. They can't slow your momentum with passive doubt. That's the benefit of working in silence. You stay spiritually clean. You protect the vibration of your vision from external energy, and that protection becomes your secret weapon. Privacy is peace. In silence, there are no comparisons, no distractions, no pressure to perform. You focus inward. You build from a place of truth, not noise. And that inward focus gives birth to something more powerful than public performance. It gives birth to purpose. And purpose is what carries you when motivation fades. Not everyone deserves access to your plans. Some people will support you, but many will secretly hope you fail, because your courage exposes their comfort zone. So protect your energy. Keep your goals like sacred ground. Invite only the trusted few, and even then share only when necessary. Talking is easy. Execution is sacred. Anyone can speak about what they want to do. Very few actually walk the path. If you master silence, you separate yourself from 90% of people. While they're busy explaining their dreams, you're quietly building yours, and that silence turns into strength over time. Your private grind builds unshakable self-worth. You no longer need applause to feel good. You feel good because you know the work you've done in the dark. You've faced yourself. You've endured. You've overcome. And that self-trust is something no amount of public praise can give you. People respect results, not noise. And when your actions finally emerge, people will be forced to listen. They may ignore your words, but they can't ignore your transformation. That's why silence is so deadly. It turns you into a storm no one saw coming. And when it hits, it changes everything. The more quietly you move, the more powerful your next chapter becomes. Because silence gives you space to change, to adapt, to grow. No one traps you in old labels. No one boxes you into who you were. In silence, you reinvent yourself fully, and when you return unrecognizable, unstoppable, undeniable. Working silently sharpens your intuition. You stop seeking answers from others and start trusting your own inner compass. You become sensitive to signs, focused on your mission, and rooted in clarity. The less noise you allow in, the more clearly your soul can speak. And that voice is always right. Let people assume you're doing nothing. Let them misunderstand your silence. Let them think you're falling behind. Because by the time they realize what you've been building, it will be too late for them to catch up. Your silence was never weakness. It was the calm before your storm. You don't owe anyone your ideas while they're still seeds. Let them sprout in peace. Don't dig them up for inspection every time someone asks. Water them with discipline. Feed them with consistency. Shield them from doubt. And when they bloom, they won't need explanation. They'll demand respect. Be so busy building that you don't even have time to talk. Let your day be filled with action, not conversation. Let your mind be occupied with learning, not explaining. Let your hands be dirty with work, not idle with storytelling. That's the kind of silence that builds empires. Every time you choose silence, you reclaim your power. You stop giving it away through unnecessary conversations. You stop wasting it on empty validation. You collect your energy like a warrior sharpening his sword, quietly, patiently, and with deadly intent. That there's no greater satisfaction than showing people what silence has done for you. Not out of ego, but out of pride in the discipline you developed. You look back and realize, while they were talking, I was transforming. While they were posting, I was preparing. And now I am ready. Sometimes silence is your protection from failure in public. When you fall in private, you rise without shame. You learn in secret. You adjust without judgment. And that process gives you an edge. Because by the time you're ready for the spotlight, you've already faced every storm alone. There's a spiritual power in silence. It's where your soul breathes, where your intuition speaks, where your higher self guides you. The noise of the world fades, and in that quiet, you find direction no one else can see. This is where miracles begin, not in noise but in stillness. Stop making announcements. Start making moves. When people ask what you're up to, smile and say, just working. You don't owe them details. You don't need to prove anything. Your legacy will be your loudest statement. Let it arrive without warning, like thunder on a clear sky. Let your future self thank you for staying silent today. For choosing discipline over display. Focus over fame. Growth over gossip. While others were talking about dreams, you were quietly building one, and that is what will change everything tomorrow. Not every chapter needs an audience. Some are meant for your eyes only. They are raw, messy, transformative. Let them be sacred. Let them be silent. Because those hidden chapters are where the true story is written, the one the world will read with awe someday. You're not behind. You're just building in silence. You're not lost. You're just aligning. You're not failing. You're just forming the foundation. Trust that your silence has meaning. Trust that your journey is unfolding perfectly. And when the time is right, the world will see everything you've become. Silence trains you for the long game. It teaches you patience in a world obsessed with urgency. While others rush to show progress, you learn to trust the process. You understand that true success doesn't need to be fast. It needs to be real, sustainable, and rooted. And that kind of success is always built quietly. Not telling people what you do keeps your focus pure. You're no longer creating for applause, you're creating for impact. You don't dress your dreams up for social approval. You refine them until they're undeniable. And when the time comes to reveal them, they shine. Not because you hyped them, but because you built them with excellence. The most powerful people in the world are the quietest. Because power doesn't beg for attention, it commands it. In silence you become powerful. You move with intent. You think before you speak. You strike only when it's time. And when you move like that, you become unforgettable. People can't destroy what they don't know exists. Your plans are safer in your hands than on someone else's tongue. Every time you stay silent, you shield your mission from jealousy, sabotage, and unnecessary energy. Silence is your shield. Strategy is your sword. Use both wisely. When you're silent, you give your goal space to evolve. You're not boxed in by the version you announced. You're free to pivot, to pause, to perfect your vision without pressure. That flexibility makes your journey stronger, smoother, and far more powerful than any rigid plan made for show. Let others underestimate you. Let them misjudge your quiet nature. Your lack of noise is not lack of ambition, it's pure discipline. And one day, the same people who thought you were doing nothing will be the ones asking how you did everything. That's the power of staying silent and focused. Not everything is meant to be shared. Some things are sacred. Your vision, your pain, your transformation, they deserve respect, not attention. Don't cheapen your journey by putting it on display too soon. The world will see it when it's ready. Until then, protect it like it's gold, because it is. Never forget, lions don't roar while they hunt. They move in silence. They stalk, they study, they strike, and only then do you hear their roar. Be like that. Study the game. Master your skills. Move in silence. And when you win, let the roar of your results shake the ground. Your silence is your identity in the making. You're not the version they remember, you're becoming something greater. And every day you work quietly, you're shedding old labels, rewriting your story, and rising into a version of yourself that only you can see, for now. In the end, the most powerful move you'll ever make is to win without needing to announce it. Let your success walk into the room before you do. Let the world find out after you've built it. That is not just strategy, it is strength. That is not hiding. That is owning your power.